Hello everybody, welcome to week 9 of a year of game design, the video journal where I track my progress doing game dev for 30 minutes a day for every day in 2020. This week was another week in Tundra Runner, the platformer that I've been working on for about 4 or 5 weeks now. It's been a while. And it's kind of funny because I feel like as we're getting closer to the end, I feel like I do 3 things and then there's like 3 things more that I think of to do. But I'm still learning and still making progress. So with that in mind, I feel like things are going pretty well. That's pretty much it. It's been a straightforward week, kind of grinding through this thing and learning things, a lot of stuff with sound and music. Let's take a little bit of a look at what I accomplished during this week. So this is another one of those weeks where as I was going through, I felt like, wow, I'm not getting very much done. But then even more so than other weeks, I feel like this week I actually did get a lot done. So again, it's that kind of thing that just a little bit every day. I feel like on a daily basis, I don't get much done, but as much as I thought I could get done, completed. But then on a weekly basis, I feel like I'm getting a lot more done than I realized I got done. So I think there is some time. I've heard that adage where you overestimate how much you can get done in a single day, but you underestimate how much you can get done in a week. And that seems to be playing out with this kind of experiment in game design as well. But 3 major things that are done that we can take a look at. Sounds are in place. The heat and health mechanic bars are working now and in place and working, and then all the menus are in place. And so let's take them kind of in a reverse order here. I think this audio is going to be okay to listen as we go through. Let me just turn it down a little bit while I'm talking before I play the sound. So we can hear background music is playing, but the menus are in place. So if we move forward in the game here, I can hit the pause menu, which actually surprisingly, I wasn't looking forward to creating this because the times I've done it before, it's been kind of tedious. But this time it wasn't that bad. I kind of just cranked it out, did a couple of hour and a half sessions, probably about 2 or 3 nights, and got all the menus done in the game. And it wasn't nearly as painful as I was expecting it to be. So you can either hit the escape key to resume the game again, or you can hit one of these buttons to go in a different direction. So take you to select the level, which takes you to the levels where different pieces of the game have been opened up or not. This level here, again, will be the level that's going to have 5 cottages, 1 for each level of the game. And you can go back and replay previous levels or go to the farthest level that you've gotten to. And I think there might be a bug here because I'm not sure why level 2 is open up at this point. That's kind of odd. But anyway, something for me to make a note of and take a look at. Then if we go back to there, and the pause menus, actually, these menus have quite a bit because you've got to get the game to stop running. Then you've got to be able to enable all of these buttons to work in the way you want them to work, and then you have to create the button and the page that displays with these menu items as well. So there's quite a bit involved with these, at least for someone who's new to development like me. You can also go to the main menu from the pause menu, which has a new game. You can start all over again. Or if we go back to the main menu, you can continue where you were. There's going to be a credits page. Almost everything in this is kind of challenge accepted. Almost everything in the game is something that I've made on my own. The things I'm not making on my own are the background art. So this picture you can see in the back here is a picture from Pixabay. And then the sounds and music, I'm looking for free and open source resources for those. And so I want to give credit in the game for the places that I've got those from. That's just common sense and common courtesy and the common expectation as well. So there's going to be a separate menu that you can click here to see what those resources are. And I'll probably change out this background image in this menu, probably switch up the design. I like the background image a lot, and I like the way it looks here now, but someone pointed out on Twitter that it's not pixelated in the same way. And when I did pixelate it in the same way inside of Photoshop and then pull it back in, it doesn't look good. So I think I'm going to kind of chuck it and start over and things like that. But so all the menus are in. That feels good because that feels like one of the big pieces that has to be in place for it to really become a game. And it's kind of one of those hurdles you have to get by. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I was pretty excited about that. The next thing that I worked on, I spent, I think, about 2 or 3 sessions, maybe 2 sessions, working on these health bars and then the temperature mechanic. You can see as the player is standing here that their body temperature is going down. And if it goes all the way down, they will die. And likewise, this health mechanic is up top here. Now the player has come to the bonfire, so you can see if he goes to the bonfire, he heats up, he moves away from the bonfire, his body starts to get cold again. So heat is going to be kind of one of those thematic mechanics within the game, and this is a representation of where it's working. And the health bar, likewise, if we run into the spikes, the health bar goes down, the player's health goes down, and it drops like that. And these are cases where it's something you think could be really hard to do. Like when I first thought of this, I thought, wow, how can you make a bar that goes down dependent on hit points? But there's actually some cool features in Unity to help out with this kind of stuff. And for this one in particular, there's you can fill, there's a property of images, which is called the fill amount. And so basically it means you can have any image filled proportionally to any kind of ratio that you want. So the very simple way that you make a fill bar like this, a health bar within inside of Unity, is you just have your fill direction originating from the left-hand side and working to the right. And then the ratio that you use is the current hit points divided by the total hit points. And so it's one line of code inside of Visual Studio, the coding environment within Unity. So in one line of code, you get that all working. And it's super easy just because of this one, the ability to fill images from different directions and things like that. So that's always fun when you think it's going to be hard and then it's not. So let's let our player freeze to death a little bit here while we explore more. And so that's all working. The health mechanic, the heat mechanic's working. There's one place with the cottage at the end where it isn't working, but I'll go put that in. And the last thing I spent quite a bit of time on is adding sounds to the game. So let's crank these up a little bit here to enjoy them in their full nature. I hope you can still hear my voice. But the background music's in place. I found a track that I really like for that. When the player dies on 3, 2, 1, and you can hear a death curdle. So then they're going to be brought back to life by the last point they got to. So the death mechanic is in. The other thing that's in place is damage mechanic. So when the player runs into something, they're going to get hurt a little bit. And, oh, this is my favorite one. One is when you squish the snowman. Let's see if I can squish him here on a reasonable number of attempts. Yeah, get that perfectly kind of satisfying squish sound. I might try to add some game shake, some screen shake in there too. I don't know how to do that yet, but that was something I was thinking might be kind of cool. Then when you pick up ornaments, you get a ding here. When you finally die at the end, if we just kill ourselves a couple more times here, start over and then go off the end here, you get the game over sound and you get back to the menu here. Let's restart the level, and then when you get to the end of a level here, if we just run through this little demo level, a little prototyping level here, yeah, that's so much fun. It never gets old. Ding a little bit more, and you get to the end, you get that little victory sound. So all of the sounds now, the basic sounds are working within the game. So it was a pretty big week, I think, altogether. Let me bring this sound back down just to make sure that's not drowning out my voice too much. It was a pretty big week altogether, and I'm feeling pretty good about where things are going. Next up is level building. So I have enough now to build the level 1 tutorial, and then enough to build level 2. As I go forward, then I'm going to build level 3. I want to add in a flying enemy on level 3, and then on level 4, I think I want to add in some kind of an ice flower that shoots crystals in all different directions and stuff for the kind of the new enemy for level 4. And then level 5, I think is going to be a boss level, and then we're done. And I'll still want to add in like a health mechanic, probably a health kit, and then probably hot chocolate to raise both heat and health. So still some things to make, but I've got enough now to make level 1 and 2, and it feels good. After I'm done shooting this video, I'm going to start right in digging and making level 1, which will be a tutorial level. So maybe even I can have that ready to play by the time the next episode comes up. Maybe level 1 and level 2 will be done by then. I have no idea how much longer it's going to take, but I feel like the learning is good, so I'm just going to keep going with it, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let's take a break here now, and I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about how things went motivationally, and then I'll wrap up. So I think now, sitting here at the end of week 9, 63 days in, got a couple of, it's kind of an up and down week, I think, motivationally. I think I've hit both 2 high points and then also my lowest point motivationally. So the week started off, I was, again, as you kind of seen we did, I was working on the menus and things like that. And from a motivation standpoint, I was not motivated to start. I was not excited to start them. But I just jumped in. I said, okay, I'm going to ground through them. I worked really hard at them. I think 3 days, 2 days, maybe an hour, hour and a half each session. Just ground them out, and it worked out great, and I was done. And that was pretty empowering. I felt really good then. Then I went in and did the health mechanic, and I started working on that, and the heat mechanic, and that felt even better because it went much faster than I thought. It was going really well. Like, wow, I'm starting to get this, and things are getting done and stuff like that. And then I got to the sounds and the music. And after about halfway through, I wasn't really looking forward to it for whatever reason, because it's not so much programming and game design. I'm going on and looking for sounds on the internet, and there's just a lot of sound sites that aren't very good, and I'm not really familiar with the good ones, although I know a couple of them now. So you're kind of just internet hunting and kind of clicking on sounds, and it's a lot of the sounds are just wrong, and then there's like spammy sites that are trying to download viruses and things like that. So you got to kind of be careful and stuff like that. And there's ones that say they're free, and then you try to download and it takes you to this other site where you're supposed to buy something, and it's like, oh God. So it just wasn't very much fun. I felt myself putting it off, and it wasn't feeling productive at all. And most of it was kind of spent searching and then bringing and pulling in like one or two sounds. And I'm like, wow, okay. I spent like a half an hour putting like 2 little sounds in the game. It's like, whoop-de-doo. It just wasn't feeling productive. It wasn't fun. And it was like the 2 shortest days I've had in probably the 63 days that I've done it since the beginning. So most days now I'm going like 45 minutes or an hour. And I think those 2 first days with sounds, it was right about 30 minutes. And I was looking and say, oh, yep, go, great, good, done. I'm out of here. It just wasn't fun. And then the third day when I got the theme music in the background and started pulling more of the sounds into the game. And then I just clicked on the game and I started to play it again. And I was like, oh, wow, the sounds add so much to the game. It's like, this actually feels like a thing now. And it was starting to look back, because I think it's definitely over halfway. I have no idea how much longer it is, but it feels like it's over halfway. The menus are in place. The music's in place. The player can move. It looks like a player. It's like, wow, this is starting to look like a game, and you get that sense of, I actually did a thing. I made something in the world that didn't exist before. So from that perspective, again, it started to get pretty motivating. And so it went from really kind of pumped up about getting the menus done and the health mechanic and the heat mechanic done, to being like, oh God, this sucks. I don't want to look for sounds anymore, to kind of like, whoa, wait, hey, look, I've almost made a game. This is pretty cool. And I'm going to keep going and finish this up. So I'm not sure what that means in a big picture, but 63 days in, I guess the biggest thing is that I'm still going and still making progress with things. So from that perspective, looking forward to drive on. Let's get week 10, 70 days if I can make it for another week. Thanks as always for stopping by. If you've got ideas on things to put into the game, love to hear what they are. And maybe by next week, I'll even have a kind of a first 2 levels done as kind of a demo to that people could actually kind of play in your web browser and stuff like that. So I'll see if I can make it there. I should be able to get the first 2 levels done. I'm hopeful actually that I'll be well into the 3rd level or 4th level, just kind of thinking how long I think it might take. But yeah, I'm hopeful that if things go well, I think I'll be working on the 4th level, kind of probably on the enemy for the 4th level. If things go a little bit more slowly than I expect, I imagine that I'll be somewhere in the 3rd level. But yeah, I think from that I should be able to get a build out. Might be buggy, but get a build out for the first 2 levels and have it available to kind of screw around with on the next episode. So with that in mind, thanks again for stopping by. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. And if you're new, want to subscribe to everything to keep it up, that would be great. To keep up with everything, that would be great as well. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. I hope your game dev journey is going well, or you're enjoying the series if you're not into game dev. Thanks.